What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today I have for you guys some of my favorite interesting and unique knives in my entire collection. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here. And before you head out, hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate it. And feel free to let me know what some of your favorite interesting or unique knives are in your collection. So first off, to kick us off, we have the Real Steel Pathfinder. And what makes this knife extremely unique is not that it has a it is that it has a Scandi ground blade. And Scandi ground blades are not unique in themselves, but they are very unique to be found on a folding knife. There's very few knives out there that do have a Scandi ground blade that are folding knives. It's typically something that is found on a fixed blade for outdoor bushcraft style of use. But what Real Steel has done here with the Pathfinder series is given us a beautiful Scandi ground blade. We have a 14C 28N drop point blade with a belt satin running into a stone wash, and it is a beautiful looking knife. We have a fuller for aesthetics, dual thumb studs for deployment, some nice jimping on the spine there. This is going to be Real Steel's crossbar lock, and it is absolutely solid, beautifully centered, nice tight tolerances. We have a deep carry reversible clip. Love the way they do that. We have contoured micarta, very nice micarta, and we have a full length backspacer between the contour, the full length backspacer, the nice micarta, the design of the handle. This thing is extremely comfortable. You could do a lot of work with this thing for a long time and be very comfortable while doing so. Love this knife. Definitely a unique take on a folder. Next up is going to be the Jack Wolf Knives Gunslinger Jack. And as much as you may not want to hear it or see it, this knife is unique to me. I feel like there is nothing else out there right now that reminds me of a Jack Wolf Knives Gunslinger Jack. Now, if you were to say there's plenty of traditional slip joints out there that look like this, then yes, I would agree. But there's no locking knives like this one out there that I know of. This is, a traditional knife that has been tweaked into becoming a locking knife. And on top of all that, the execution of the build, the design, the material choice, everything that goes into this knife, it is just an extremely unique looking design, and it's so well executed that it's just utterly ridiculous what Ben Belkin has been able to do over there. This thing is extremely comfortable. You have a full length titanium backspacer. We have a titanium milled clip here. Beautiful gold matter inlays, titanium bolsters. We have a hand satin S90V clip point blade with a long fuller here and a front flipper for deployment. Tings every time you open it. Every single time, guys. It's just, this thing is awesome. There's nothing else quite like this on the market that I know of at this quality. This is definitely a unique knife in my opinion. Next up, we have the Kaiser Momo. Now, I tried to clean the blade up the best I could. I'm not going too much further with it, but I've been using the crap out of this thing. The Kaiser Momo, it might not look like a unique knife, but this thing comes in at 9.5 inches, guys. So this thing is freaking massive. And, I think this is an interesting knife. That's why I kind of classified this as interesting and unique, because this thing is 9.5 inches. The only deployment method is the front flipper, and it's executed very well. Nice and snappy. It's got that beautiful satin 154 cm drop point blade. From the sharpening choil, it has this gradual incline all the way up there to the tip. So not only would this make, a nice EDC knife, But this would work, you know, in the kitchen for your steaks, for, you know, your veggies, whatever. You have this two-tone aluminum handle here. You have a little aluminum backspacer. We have a milled steel clip, I believe, internal milling for weight relief. But yeah, I just think this is a very interesting knife right here. And it's one I'm glad that I picked up because it's a unique knife. There's not a ton of knives like this out there. 9.5 inches, front flipper only. And for its size, it's fairly lightweight as well. But yeah, the Kaiser Momo, if you haven't gotten a chance to handle one of these, or if this is something that looks like it might be, you know, your type of flavor, if you will, definitely one to take a look at and try out because it's a fantastic build that is definitely a unique offering from Kaiser. Next up, we have the Max Ace Mamba. And although this is not a interesting or unique design or lock or anything like that, what is unique about it is it's using a steel that I never heard of until I got this knife. It's in SLD Magic. I forget. Oh, yeah, it's right here. It's an SLD Magic, which is like a proprietary steel, and it's just an interesting knife steel choice in my opinion. Apparently very wear resistant, very tough, and it just looks awesome. And this is a very well done knife from Max Ace. Just incredible action, very nice ergos, titanium bolster into some very, very fine micarta. Wish this would have had a full length either micarta or titanium backspacer, you know, at least up until where the flipper comes through, like somewhere down, you know, basically to the top of the micarta here. That would have been excellent. But as the knife sits, it is unique. They also offer these in S90V, I believe. But if you want something a little different, something a little bit more interesting, you can get yourself the SLD Magic version. I believe these are still in stock. You have a nice little milled tie clip there, tie backspacer. The Max Ace Black Mamba in SLD Magic. Definitely a interesting and unique pocket knife right there. Next up, we got the Kubey Knives Rhino. And what makes this knife interesting, makes it unique, is that this guy is a button lock. But this is not a plunge lock. This is a liner lock that is disengaged by the button. So, in theory, in a sense, this is a compression lock like Spyderco uses with their Smock series. But not many companies, I think there are companies that are starting to dabble with this idea and kind of use that same design logic. But Kubey is the first company that I have had a knife from that does the liner lock that is deactivated by the button. And although this knife I had trouble with early on, it wasn't a part of the design. It wasn't a part of the lock geometry or anything like that. I think it was just due to the coating process, the overcoating of the tang and the lock face. It made for the knife to have slippage in there, or for the knife to slip out of being locked up. With a little bit of sanding, we were able to make this knife lock up solid and has not had an issue since then, guys. This guy is also coming in 14C 28N. I had somebody tell me the other day to stop calling these guys. Too bad. Shut the hell up. We have a drop point blade, we have a cutout, we have dual thumb studs, and we have a front flipper for deployment. And this thing, you know, as it sits, it's got solid deployment on those studs. Very easy to get in there and actuate this thing. You can use the cutout as well on both sides. Typically, I use the cutout for the reverse flick and then the studs for the thumb flick, and then you can use that very minimal front flipper as well. Some sort of PVD coating on this guy. Micarta handles, you have an aluminum pivot collar. We have a deep carry clip there that's been recessed along with the pocket clip screws. No idea why they didn't make this one also left-hand carry friendly, but that, you know, that is kind of the name of the game. That is what we deal with week in and week out. Knives that just are not tooled for lefties. But I would say that's the only knock on this knife, is that it was not tooled for left-hand carry. And I wish they would have ran that backspacer up further. But, you know, at the price tag, you know, and get rid of the remet on the front of the blade. Nobody wants to see that. But a solid knife and a fun and interesting knife. Let me know down below, what are some of your favorite interesting knives, favorite unique knives. Love hearing from you guys. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here, and hit that thumbs up button before you head out. Otherwise, guys, that'll wrap it up for this one, and I will catch you on the next one.